Hi, welcome back to the Box of Lights game channel and welcome back to War of the Ring. We start by recovering our dice and drawing some action cards. The Fellowship did move last turn, so Shadow Player's going to leave at least one eye dice here in the Hunt for the Ring box. He draws two cards. On they went, and the King is revealed. Four cards now. Three People's Player draws. Dead Men of Dunharrow and the Riders of Theoden. Takes him up to 5 cards. Now we get to the Fellowship phase and the part the Three People's Player was waiting for. The Fellowship's currently here in Dimble Dale. The Fellowship track has moved up to 1. During the Fellowship phase you can, if you want, voluntarily declare the position of the Fellowship. So we're going to do that right now. To declare the position of the Fellowship, you look at the Fellowship track, we're at position 1 and we move it back to 0. Now the key point here, and there's difference between declaring the position of the Fellowship and having the Fellowship revealed by the Shadows player, is that the Fellowship remains hidden side up. And then we can move the Ring Bearer's marker. So we're here in Dimble Dale, and what we want to do is move one region into Lorien. And if the Fellowship's declared in a region that contains a Free People's city or stronghold, we can heal 1 point of corruption. And this is where we can fight against the Shadow Player and make ourselves a little less vulnerable. We move down from 6 to 5. And if we wish now, we can keep the Fellowship here in Lorien for as long as we want, and every turn, every time we hit the Fellowship phase, we'll heal 1 more point of corruption. Hunt allocation now, and I think, well, Shadow Player's just going to leave the 1 in there. We want to get things moving militarily, and there is obviously this risk that the Free People's is just going to keep the Fellowship there in Lorien. So let's maximise our dice rolling. We won't put any more eyes in the Hunt for the Ring box. Now we get to roll our dice. Free People's has got 5. We get 2 character dice, 2 army muster dice, and 1 event dice. Shadow Player now. And we get 1 eye. So this one's going to get added to the Hunt for the Ring box anyway, so we've got 2 there now. And we've got a whole bunch of other great dice. We've got 1 character, 3 army, 1 muster, and 2 army muster. That's great. Remember, Free People's always kicks things off. And we're going to start with the muster die and move Rohan 1 point down the political track. Shadow Player, well, they want to get some action going here, I think, and push in on Rohan and Gondor from 2 directions. So let's grab this muster die here. And with this, I'm going to play a special ability from Saruman. Let's take a closer look. It's called the Voice of Saruman. As long as Orthanc is under your control and not under siege, you may use the muster action die to recruit 1 regular Isengard unit in every Isengard settlement, or replace 2 regular Isengard units in Orthanc with 2 elite units, and it's this latter thing that I'm going to do right now. I'm going to grab these 2 regular units and replace them with 2 elites. Now Free People's, they're going to use this event dice. And with this, one of these newly drawn cards, the Riders of Theoden, and this says recruit 1 Rohan unit, regular or elite, and 1 Rohan leader in either Edoras or in a Rohan region containing a companion. So I'm going to place an elite and a leader here in Edoras. Useful card. Shadow Player now. We've got quite a few military dice. I'm going to use this muster die one more time and use Saruman's ability again, but this time to recruit one regular in each Isengard settlement. So that's 3 units. One here in North Dunlin, one here in South Dunlin, and one more here in Orthanc. Free Peoples would quite like to recruit some more Rohan units here, but remember they can't recruit until Rohan is at war. If Isengard attacks, they're going to move 1 spot down, and then they'll be just 1 spot away from at war. But at the moment we're all up here and we cannot recruit. We can, however, give Shadow Player something to think about elsewhere, because the elves are at war. So I can use this muster die and shore up Lorien. And we also look a little bit threatening on Dol Guldur. You know, we mustn't forget that a military victory is still a feasible objective for the Free Peoples, because they only need 4 victory points, and that means taking down just 2 strongholds. But for now it's not much of a threat. Let's have Shadow Player start being aggressive and using this army that we've just fired up at Orthanc to attack the Fords of Isen. Let's grab one of these army dice and declare an attack. Because we're being attacked, we move Rohan 1 step down the political track. We're going to attack with 5 Isengard units here, and there's only 2 units in the Fords of Isen in defence, and we can play combat cards now. Shadow Player is happy to play without. Free Peoples, however, I think we are going to use our Scouts command card. And this says, before the combat roll, retreat your army to an adjacent free region or withdraw into a siege. Yes, we are in a fortification here, but the Free People's player is going to retreat from the Fields of Isen into Helm's Deep. And I think the Isengard forces will rush out in pursuit onto the Fords of Isen. Free People has 2 character dice left, and yes, we're definitely going to move the Fellowship. So let's take one of these dice. I mean, we could stay in Lorien healing up, but I think if we can make it intact all the way to Minas Morgul or Maranon with 5 corruption, that's not too bad. I mean, we can always still stop in someplace like Minas Tirith if we can hold on to it along the way. There's 2 eyes in the hunt for the ring box, and there's no bonuses to be had. And we're looking for 6s. That's a 4 and a 3, so Shadow Player's unlucky. Let's move the Fellowship track. But we do have a lot of dice left. And there's some pretty good dice left here. I'm going to use this character die. This is a good one for the Shadow Player because it means he can move all his Nazgul. And this does include the Witch King here at Moria. And he's going to come down here onto the Falls of Isen together with his Nazgul from North Ithilien, adding their leadership to this Isengard army. And I think we might as well move this Nazgul here from Pelagir, and with the attacking dice we have, Helm's Deep is going to come under some pressure, I think. Free Peoples has a character dice left, and I think we'll move the Fellowship one more time. So let's roll for the hunt for the ring. Now remember, there's a +1 modifier to this hunt roll because of this 1 Free People's dice here in the hunt for the ring box, because they've already moved the Fellowship once this turn. So we're only looking for a 5 or a 6. And no good. Okay, the Fellowship is safe once more. It's all about the Shadow Player now because the Free Peoples have used all their dice. And we will use an army die to begin the attack on Helm's Deep. This is quite a large army here, and I think that the Rohan forces will retreat into Helm's Deep. Remember, that's their first choice when they're attacked. Do they fight a field battle, or do they retreat into the stronghold? Rohan will move down the political track to at war, and this Isengard army, led by the Witch King and 2 Nazgul, will move onto the fields of Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep is now considered under siege, and the battle, for now, is over. Shadow Player's got other ideas though. We've got an army dice, so we're going to use it to initiate another battle with the Free Peoples in Helm's Deep. It is going to be tricky for the Free Peoples. They've only got 3 units, 1 leader. The Isengard army has 5 units, 4 of which are elite. Plus, they've got the leadership here offered by 2 Nazgul and the Witch King. And the Witch King's leadership is 2. So they have a total leadership of 4. The Free Peoples are in a stronghold, so the Shadow Player is only going to hit on a 6 rather than a 5 and a 6. But we get a chance to play combat cards, and we're going to play this one here, Devilry of Orthanc. And it says, play if an Isengard army is in the battle and the defending army is in a stronghold. And that's exactly what situation we're in. Add 1 to all dice on your combat roll. So we've effectively wiped out that defensive bonus that the Free Peoples get from being in a stronghold. We're going to hit on a 5 or a 6. It's still only 1 combat round though, unless of course Shadow Player forfeits some elite units. So it's 5 dice for Shadow, and we're going to hit on 5s or 6s. And we have 2, 3 hits. Pretty good roll. Free Peoples only get 3 dice. They're going to hit on 5s and 6s as well. And the tension. They get 1 hit. Leader rerolls now. With their leadership of 4, Shadow Player is going to get to reroll both of their failed dice, but gets no extra hits. Free Peoples has a leadership of 1, so they'll get to reroll 1 of their failed dice. And it's a miss again. Shadow Player is going to take their 1 hit by downgrading one of these elite units to a regular. Free Peoples has to take 3 hits, and they've only got 3 regulars, so this army is wiped out. The leader must go with them because they're part of this army. Helm's Deep is defeated. We now remove this Free Peoples army from Helm's Deep. We'll place a marker here to indicate that the settlement's controlled by the Shadow Player now, and it's worth 2 victory points. So Shadow Player's moved up to 3. But not only that, if we look at the Witch King here, he has this sorcerer ability, which says if the Witch King's in a battle, which he is, and we use a combat card during the first round of the battle, after doing so you may immediately draw an event card from the deck matching the type of that card. And Devilry of Orthanc was one of these muster cards, the strategy card. So Shadow Player gets to draw Stormcrow. And the Shadow Player still has 1 action die left. To end the turn, the Shadow Player is going to use this army dice that's left to move 2 armies. The first army I'm going to move is this one here at Helm's Deep. And we're going to move into West Emnet. We're going to leave some forces behind, just to keep an eye on Helm's Deep. We'll leave 1 regular here. There's a nice big mountain range in the way, so there's no easy route through. And the second army I'm going to move is this army here at North Athelion. And we're going to move this army onto the Dead Marshes. That's it for now. Join me next time as we continue to play War of the Ring.